Hey, it's Adrian with Ocean Independence. We're on ANYA today, 2015 40-meter Sunseeker. She's currently for charter with us, and I'm very excited to show you this yacht because she's been performing exceptionally well this year as a charter vessel. In fact, she's one of the most successful yachts in our fleet to date. So what makes a successful charter yacht? Well, the answer to this is multifaceted, but first and foremost, you need great exterior and interior areas, great cabins, great spaces for entertainment, but there's also other aspects that must be considered. You need the speed to be able to move around from location to location. You need great toys, and last but not least, a crucial aspect, you need a wonderful crew. ANYA hits all of these points, and so I'm very excited to be touring this yacht, to be showing you what has made her so successful. And with that, let's get right into it. ANYA was built in the year 2015 by the prestigious British brand Sunseeker, but she surely doesn't feel like an 8-year-old vessel. Reason being, her current owner bought her 3 years ago and embarked on a refit to make her more attractive both for his own personal use and for charter use. And we'll be pointing out his individual touches as we go through this tour. We'll do the tour top down today, and we're starting off on the Sundeck. Right behind me, we have 4 sun loungers. We have a bimini top which comes down like so, and then we have a wet bar right next to me with beautiful marble countertops. What makes this Sundeck so great is that it can be individually catered to. So we have a fully equipped bar with a sink, a cooking top, an ice maker, and a fridge. So guests can be sitting either at the bar right next to me or behind you at this wonderful table with seating for around 5 people. Now perhaps you've spent a couple days on board, you have a bit of a guilty conscience because you've been indulging just a bit too much, and so the owner thought it'd be nice to have some exercise equipment up here. In fact, we have a set of dumbbells right over there, and we even have a stationary bike so you can burn off some of those calories. Now if you don't feel like doing any of that and you just want to continue relaxing, you can hop into the jacuzzi, enjoy marvelous 360-degree views. Today we're anchored right off of Menton, and as I've been told by the captain, Italy's over there, France is over there, we're somewhere in between. To the starboard and to port of the jacuzzi, we have sunbaths. So once you're done with the jacuzzi, you want to dry off in the sun, you can do so lying on these sun pads. So that wraps it up for the Sundeck. Truly a great spot for socializing, for relaxing, and even for working out. And so I suggest we now head one deck lower, so follow me. Coming down these steps, we get to the upper deck aft, and I was talking to the stewardess earlier, and she was telling me that on occasion charter guests will eat on the sky deck, but really most guests will choose to have their food served in this wonderful al fresco dining area. We have a nice wooden table with a bit of marble right in the center. This is a unique touch of the current owner. He had the marble flown in from Carrara. The crew have been kind enough to prepare all of this so you can really get a feel of what it would be like if you were to dine out here during your next charter holiday. Behind the table, we have some more seating, and then coming around the table, we get to another wet bar. Again, has beautiful Italian marble. And as I was saying earlier, every single space on this yacht can be individually catered to, and that just makes it so much easier for the crew to provide the best possible service. And now, let's go see some of the interiors. Stepping into the Sky Lounge, you immediately notice the dark wood paneling that you'll see throughout. That's very typical of Sunseeker, but when the current owner bought her 3 years ago and embarked on the refit, he wanted to brighten up the space and really add a bit of life to it. And I think he's achieved that quite well by putting in light-colored Italian design of furniture, which you'll see throughout. In addition, he exchanged the wooden flooring, which was very dark to begin with, which is now a much lighter shade. To port, we have another service area for the crew, and then right opposite the service area, we have this workstation. So if you're absolutely forced to take a second or two away from the fun, this is where you'd get your work done. Now, fortunately, this space is right opposite the bar, so you can continue having your drinks while you're typing away. Now, opposite the workstation, we have this socializing area. We have a marble coffee table right in the center. I love this small detail, which are these cushions. They're blue and white. I think that adds a nautical touch. And in case you're traveling with children, this is a great spot for a different reason. We have a wonderfully large TV right here, so kids can sit down and watch a movie. Just like the Sundeck, what makes this yacht so great is that space is catered to a variety of different people, and each space has a bit of everything for everyone. And on that note, let's head over to the bridge for those of you that are a bit more mechanically minded. This is the bridge deck. I think it has quite the nautical feel thanks to the wood paneling. So I won't be going into too much detail on all the systems. We have our usual suspects, the navigation systems, our chart plotters, our radar, our autopilot, our depth sounder. But I'd like to point out one very crucial aspect, which are the stabilizers. Now, stabilizers are almost a must-have on charter yachts nowadays. Fortunately, ANYA has both at anchor and underway stabilizers. So even when it does get a bit choppy, ANYA will be lying quite nicely and quite comfortably in the water. So earlier I mentioned that part of a charter experience is being able to get from location to location at reasonable speeds. ANYA has two MTU M90 4000 series engines on here, putting out as much as 5,000 horsepower in total. So generally when you'd be cruising, you'd be going along at 12.5, maybe 13.5 knots, burning between 300 and 400 liters an hour. But if you really open up the throttle and you really do need to get to someplace fast, you can go right along sailing at 22 knots. Quite impressive for this kind of volume in this type of boat. Now, if we look out of the wheelhouse, we have great visibility, and just forward of the wheelhouse, we have a sunbathing area. So either when you're in port and moored stern to, this is a perfect spot because you have some more privacy, or when you're underway, maybe going along at 12.5 knots, you want to take in all the scenery, enjoy the sea breeze, that's the perfect spot to do it. But now we'll head down into the guest accommodation, so please follow me. On the lower deck, we have 4 spacious guest cabins. Currently they're configured as 2 double cabins and 2 twin cabins. Now let me show you into one of the double cabins. We have, in terms of the finish, we have the same glossy wood, we have white leather paneling behind the bed, we have splashes of color in terms of the pillows and some of the linen on the bed. What I like about this cabin in particular is that we get great views out onto the sea level. It really gives you the connection with the sea and with the outside, even being in a cabin on the lower deck. In terms of the entertainment that we have here, we have a TV which pops out right through here. We have a vanity mirror, even a small workstation if one needed to get some work done. We of course have an ensuite with a shower and a toilet. And that wraps it up for the double cabin. There's another symmetrical double cabin on the other side of the boat. It's very, very similar with some minor cosmetic differences. I think this would be a good time to point out that the owner is in fact an avid art collector. So you may have noticed the artwork in the guest cabin, and perhaps you've seen the artwork as we've been touring this yacht. In fact, the owner has handpicked every single piece of artwork on the vessel. We have some Matisse and also some other artists that are on display. I really think the artwork brings all of these areas to life, in particular because it's such a great contrast to the glossy wood paneling throughout. So getting back to the topic of charter, when you're running a charter vessel, in order for it to be successful, you need to be flexible in terms of the guest room configuration, because you're not necessarily always going to have 4 couples. You may have children, you may have friends on board, you may be a large party or a smaller party, and ANYA tackles this problem quite well. So I did show you one of the doubles, but the twins can actually be reconfigured. So we can move the twin beds together, in essence creating another double cabin, or if we wanted to, we can keep them apart and even pop up a Pullman bed, creating 3 single berths. So this really adds a great deal of flexibility in terms of guest accommodation. And now that we've covered the guest cabins, I suggest we move one deck up and tour the master stateroom. Moving forward and heading into the master cabin, we have a dayhead to starboard and crew access to port. And then once we enter the cabin itself, we are greeted by a large walk-in closet. That's in fact one of 3 in this cabin, if you believe it or not. And you'll notice that the master stateroom makes use of the full beam of the vessel, which is tad over 8 meters. Another feature I'd like to point out are the windows on either side, in particular the 4 rectangular windows on the starboard side of the vessel. I don't know if this comes across on camera, but they actually curve outwards, which adds an additional sense of volume. Now, in terms of the decoration of this master stateroom, we have the glossy wood that we've seen throughout, But we also have sprinkles of more contemporary interior. We have the furniture picked out by the owner himself. We have the white paneling behind the bed. And then right in front of the bed, we have this inlay, which I particularly like, which is also an individual touch of the owners. In terms of entertainment in the master stateroom, did mention entertainment was a key aspect of a charter vacation. We of course have a TV and a surround sound system with speakers integrated into the ceiling. Now moving even further forward into the foremost section of this yacht, we get to the ensuite. The ensuite makes use of almost the full beam of the vessel. Right in the center, we have a bathtub which actually has jets, so you can lie in the bathtub enjoying a massage and relaxing. From there, we also have a very sizable shower space, and opposite the shower space on the starboard side, we have the toilet. In the center, we have a large mirror with a basin. So that wraps it up for the guest accommodation. But of course, guest accommodation is not the only kind of accommodation we have on board. Crew accommodation is right below us. We have 4 crew cabins, 1 deck lower, and then we have the captain's cabin that I've shown you, which is connected to the wheelhouse. Now, many people, when picking out a yacht, they don't necessarily consider how important it is to have good crew on board. In fact, I cannot stress the importance of having a wonderful crew on board a yacht, because it does really make or break a charter experience. Now on this yacht, I can assure you, we have a fantastic set of crew. We were warmly greeted this morning, coffee was made, food was prepared. It was simply a wonderful experience. So I can only imagine, the level of service that is provided to guests. And speaking about service, we have crew access right through this door, and in fact this also leads into the galley where all the food is prepared. That's another hugely important aspect of any charter vacation. In fact, I made the mistake of going into the galley a couple times this morning, and every time I'd go in, I'd smell the wonderful lunch that is being prepared for us, which just makes me want to finish this video as quickly as possible. But of course, we'll take our time, make sure we show you everything in great detail. And with that, let's head further aft into the main saloon. Moving into the main saloon, the first thing you'll notice is this wonderful dining area. The table can sit 10 guests comfortably. The dining chairs around the table are from Minotti, so we have top-of-the-line Italian designer furniture. Behind the table, we have some more artwork, handpicked again by the owner. And then if we continue going further aft, we get to this large seating area. We have the lighter furniture that we've seen throughout that adds the contemporary touch. In the center of this seating area, we have a large circular coffee table, marble clad, as we've seen throughout. But I think what really opens up the space, brings in the sea breeze, and gives you that connection with the outside are the 2 sliding doors to port and to starboard, as well as the 2 fold-down balconies. On a day like today, I really think there's no better place to grab a coffee, be it in the morning, or to finish off your day with an evening cocktail than standing outside on one of the fold-down balconies. Just a wonderful, wonderful space. And that wraps it up for the interior, and so let's head out aft onto the main deck aft. So we'll finish off this tour on the main deck aft, and although we saved it for last, it's actually a very important area as it is where you would be greeting your guests, and it also gives you access to the beach club and to a myriad of water toys that ANYA has to offer. So over here you have a small seating area in case you want to relax, but knowing myself, I would want to spend most of my time out on the water toys, so follow me down these steps to where the fun begins. Coming down these stairs, we get to ANYA's swim platform, which in and of itself is a great area. But what makes it even greater and makes this one of the most appealing features of ANYA is the vast selection of water toys. The crew were kind enough to put them all out on display this afternoon. And so we have a great tender, a jet ski, 2 sea bobs, several inflatable toys, and we even have water skis and a wakeboard. Really, I can't think of anything that's missing. And I can assure you, if you are into water sports, you most certainly won't get bored. On this note, we'll wrap it up for today, and I hope you've seen throughout this tour that ANYA offers a lot for everybody. And although the 2023 season has come to an end, 2024 is just around the corner, and ANYA will be up for charter again with us with Ocean Independence. In case you want to book your next vacation, please do get in touch with us. We'll put a link in the video description. And with that, as always, please like, subscribe, and share the video. And most importantly, stay tuned for many great yacht tours that are just around the corner. Thank you for listening. See you all next time.